This is Mike Erie with the Newport Richey Jiu-Jitsu Academy, the Jiu-Jitsu Project podcast. I'm here with my very wonderful friend, Professor Butch and Professor Cassio.
Oh.
So this is our second edition of our podcast. We really haven't figured out what we're going to talk about a little bit. On the agenda, we're going to talk about the upcoming seminar with Master Fabio Gurgel.
Yes.
Gurgel?
Fabio Gurgel.
Gurgel.
Yes.
I want to say Gurgel, but I know it's wrong, so every time I'm convincing myself to say it right. So I don't want to say it wrong in front of him. I'll be
G
really...
is gu.
Gu.
Gurgel.
Gurgel. Gurgel.
Yes.
Gur, like gur?
Gur.
Like gur.
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 Gurgel.
Gurgel. Okay, excellent. So he's coming next Saturday. Cassio and I are going to pick him up.
Yep.
Unless you want to come with us too.
Yes.
What day?
Friday. We're going to go to Orlando.
Possibly.
Can't do it?
We'll see.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Well, Cassio and I are going to go pick him up at the airport at Orlando, and then we're going to drive back. We're going to go to sushi at Kazu's. I have a $50 gift certificate that I'm going to,
No.
add to our probably $200 tab.
Now Professor Bush coming.
Now Professor Butch will come, yes. Now that he knows there's food involved,
Sure.
exactly.
Yes.
Or beer. If there's beer involved, he'll come
Beer
too.
and food.
So, and then we'll have the seminar on Saturday from 12 to 3. And then we'll do a podcast with him afterwards. So we're going to get a bunch of questions and ask him some really good questions about, just his life and his experience in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then hopefully... we'll have dinner that night, and then hopefully we'll get him to come to Sunday morning open mat, which would be
that would be fun.
unbelievable. And of course, I can't roll yet still because of my shoulder, so that's gonna not like
You
it
might
would
be able to do a little bit of something.
yeah, maybe.
I've
It's
been
not-
rolling
not
with
like-
you for too long. There's something may need to
Oh, okay.
just wrestle. A little.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'll do that. Not like anything's gonna matter anyway. I'll grab him and he'll just be like, so. So, speaking of your teacher, Master Fabio Gurgel, how old were you when you went to study with him?
30 years maybe.
You were 30 years old.
Yes.
You were already a black belt in Brazilian or in judo, right?
Yes.
What degree black belt?
In
In judo, when you went to study with him at 30, how long have you been in judo by then?
me,
Yeah.
I started studying judo. I have a 5 years old only.
5 years old.
Yes.
So when you went to study Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
54, close
so
to
you're almost 50 years, almost
Yes.
50 years in judo.
Yeah.
So you were 25 years in judo when you went to study Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
And did you?
I'm started to Jiu-Jitsu in really 23. No, 24. 23.
No, 24?
No, 24 is a joke in Brazil, do you know?
You
But
may hear references in these podcasts to the 24 joke in Brazil. If you have any interest in figuring it out, we're not going to talk about it. Go online and just look up what does 24 mean in Brazil.
Yes.
So we'll leave it at that. Professor Butch,
Okay.
24.
Yes.
I need to go look it up.
Probably.
And I'm started to training with Fabio. My first professor is Eduardo Fraga. The nickname is Selvagem because I'm putting my first dojo, my first gym, weightlifting. I'm really strong this time, I'm close to plus 600 pounds in bench press.
You were doing a 600-pound bench press?
Yes.
At 30?
Yes. And I'm start to put a dojo for a mat for judo.
Mm-hmm.
But coming the guys with jiu-jitsu. And Fatima there, my wife. Oh, you need to go because you're too strong. The guy's here. Okay, I'm go.
Can we pan on Fatima real quick to show Fatima? Just a
Yes.
real quick pan?
Coming here for, hey, hi.
Just make it come. That's Fatima. Say hi, Fatima. Okay.
And this time I put my gi, he coming to the dojo, coming to the mat.
So you started a judo dojo at your gym.
Yes.
But the people that came in to join were jiu-jitsu people.
Yes.
Were they like people coming in to lift weights and they
Yes.
happen to be training at another
Yes.
jiu-jitsu
Yes.
school? Jiu-jitsu school, and then saw your school and like, oh, we're jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
We want to.
Yes.
Okay.
And maybe the professor there is a brown belt at this time. It's 1989, 1988. And I play hard, maybe 30 seconds. The guy win with armbar.
Uh-huh.
I don't like this.
Sure.
I'm see my wife cry, close to cry. Oh, my husband lost the fight. I'm hungry this. I return, maybe in 15 seconds, lost again.
Lost again.
Yes.
So, and at the time in judo, you've been training since you were 5.
Yes.
So, what were you like third, fourth degree, maybe third degree judo, third degree black belt, third degree black belt, and you had newaza experience.
Yes.
Because you studied newaza in judo, but it wasn't obviously the way that we study it in Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yes, because it's judo. For me, I understand this. Judo changed all techniques after Olympic, introducing Olympic.
Yeah.
Have a really restrict rules.
Yes,
You know?
yes. I know that there were some old schools that were the Kosen schools that focused on the ground.
Yes.
But that specifically, they changed the rules because the ground fights would last so long, and they wanted shorter fights and more
Yes,
exciting
yes.
fights, and the big throws
That's
look
it.
really
Yes.
look neat.
Yeah, and Jiu-Jitsu continues fighting in the mat. You know,
Yeah.
no in standing position. Starting in standing position, but come to the.
They come to the ground.
In the ground.
The ground, yeah.
I have skills for this, but it's completely different. You
Yeah.
know, it's more movements, more levers. I don't understand, and the guy win.
Yeah.
You know, win again. I'm really deceptive because I cry. Believe me, I need to go out to the gym and walk in the street.
Completely upset. Yeah.
No possible, no possible.
Yeah.
But I understand. Hey, the best choice for me is start to train.
Yeah.
You know?
So you knew instantly that it was a matter of not so much that you didn't have skill, but that their skill on the ground
Yes.
was very, very
Yes.
higher than what you
Yes.
had learned in judo.
Yeah. And this time I'm start, and maybe 1 year coming to the blue belt, because this time in Brazil no have a competition for white belts. We start a competition for blue belts.
The world used to be that way, remember?
Yeah.
The world used to be that you couldn't, this back in like 2005, 2003, you couldn't go to the worlds, the mundials,
Yeah.
as a white belt.
Yes.
Only blue belt and
Only
up.
blue belt
Yeah.
and come. But it's correct to start with a competition in white belt, because
Yes.
you incentive. You know, the guys continue.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm start to go to the blue belt, and Fabio coming to São Paulo. He transfer for Rio de Janeiro, go to São Paulo.
To open up a jiu-jitsu school,
Yes.
specifically.
Specifically Jiu-Jitsu school.
And at that time in '89, now I know Fabio Gurgel was a student of Romero Cavalcante.
Yes.
And was there any separation? There wasn't an alliance yet. They were still all part of the Gracie family.
Yes.
There was like one dojo.
The alliance started this. Why? Because we have 3 or 4 different dojo for Romero Jacaré,
Right.
for Fabio, for other guys, and no like compete the same academy in world competition. Hey, the alliance no compete with your fighters.
If you were teammates, you didn't compete against each other.
Yes. And this time Fabio have this idea. He started the alliance for no compete for the same team, you know. And the alliance continues. Fabio all day, all 24 hours in the mat for teaching, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night, and assembly big gym, you know, and the big fighters in the world.
So he came to Sao Paulo.
Yes.
And how did you meet him when he came to Sao Paulo?
How do you?
How did you meet him?
Acho que eu não entendi. In açaí place.
In an acai place.
Yeah, because it started the first açaí close to your dojo. I come and I see Fabio. Wow, this is Fabio Gurgel. He's fighter. I see Fabio after this in Maxudi Plaza. It's a hotel in São Paulo. Have a big fight in MMA. No heavy gloves, no heavy nothing.
Yeah.
This time. And the American fighter coming. But for Fabio, this time the competition have you fight, you win, you continue.
Yes,
you know?
okay.
It's
Like a tournament
yes,
style,
tournament
yeah.
style. Fabio win and coming to the other side, the guys. But your adversary, no coming because they have a problem for
Stomach issues.
Stomach issues.
Stomach.
Yeah, stomach issues against Fabio Gurgel. Probably had like butterflies
but
in his stomach.
the substitute is Mark Kerr.
Yeah, Mark Kerr.
Oh, I remember
Mark Kerr.
this.
For those that don't know Mark Kerr, go watch a movie called The Smashing Machine. It's a
Yes.
documentary on Mark Kerr. It's actually quite a tragic film of a really, really amazing athlete. It's definitely worth the watch.
Yes.
Huge American, just enormous,
It's a
big wrestler.
wrestling, yes,
yeah, like
yes.
D1 wrestler.
Amazing
and, yeah.
guys. Have a too strong, have a big punch,
Yeah.
you know. And the Fabio in final, Mark Kerr with Fabio Gurgel.
Wow.
Maybe 30 minutes the fight, 3 rounds, 10 minutes each.
Yeah.
And for no submission, Fabio continues fight, but in decision.
Went to
judge
decision.
yes.
That's a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Win the Mark Kerr.
Mark
you
Kerr.
know, yes.
But still.
Yeah. And Fabio started MMA 2 in UFC in the first 10 editions.
Oh,
you know?
he fought in.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know
You'll
that.
find- yeah, you'll
oh, he
find
fought in
it
the early UFCs. Fabio
Yes,
Gurgel did. I did
yes.
not know that. That's
Yes,
cool.
Yes.
Very nice.
Really, really amazing fighter. And for me, this guy have more jiu-jitsu in your mind for any. I know, see other guy have a lot
More.
with a Fabio
Knowledge.
Gurgel. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's an amazing guy, really.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's I know we're super excited about him coming here.
Yeah.
I'm of course nervous because it's our school and I want everything to go really well and stuff like that. But nervous in a good way.
But the first guy have the invitation for Fabio coming is us. You
Yes.
remember?
Yes.
Maybe 6 months ago.
Yes.
Fabio coming to US for seminars. Really? Yes. Hey, it's possible. You think it's good idea, Professor Mike? Yes, it's the best
Oh yeah.
idea. Oh,
Yeah, it's
come
going to
in.
be wonderful.
The first mat, the first dojo for
Seminar is here. Oh, that's
Newport
awesome.
Richey Jiu-Jitsu.
I'm excited about that. It's the first time we really haven't had
Our
any.
small little world
Yeah,
here in
right.
Newport Richey.
Exactly. Newport Richey, Florida. We don't have a lot of alliance in this part of the world. We have Bruno Malfacini was over in Orlando, but I don't know any other. Are there any alliance dojos in Miami,
Having, I think, in North Florida.
North Florida,
Yes.
like
In-
Jacksonville?
Yes.
Okay.
And Miami too have one. I think it have. I don't remember. I need to see.
Well, Atlanta's the home. Atlanta's the headquarters in the U.S.
Yes.
The U.S. headquarters.
Yeah, at Atlanta.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Atlanta is a headquarter in U.S. because it's Romero Jacaré.
Jacare school, yeah.
I have a question
Here,
for
you got?
Professor Cassio.
Yes.
Actually, speaking of Master Gugel, what style of fighting or what style of jiu-jitsu is he? Because I mean, I've watched the videos. I've seen his MMA fight, the great jiu-jitsu against Lucha Libre fight. But what style of jiu-jitsu is he? So that I know if he does come to open mat, what style of jiu-jitsu I need to have.
As if you had a chance anyway.
I like to think, in my mind at least, I can defend myself. But
You're going to put him in half guard. He's going to pass you, and he's going to smash you. That's what's going to happen.
well, I mean, I might keep him in half guard at least for a
Right.
couple seconds.
That'll be our thing. Like we kept Fabio Gurgel in our half guard for 30 seconds before he was able to pass.
It's a
It's a
very
small
man.
victory.
Fabio Gurgel is a monster in all positions, but really, really, really impossible you stop past the guard.
Yeah,
Yes,
I watched a
past the
lot of his
guard,
fight. He seems to be a very top-heavy fighter.
Yes.
He doesn't like to pull guard. He likes to
Yeah.
get throws and stuff like that. Now, does he have a judo background?
Yes.
Also?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean
absolutely.
everybody
Yeah.
has a judo
Yes.
background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but
Now, speaking of that, I like to kind of at least say I'm somewhat of a self-professed historian of martial arts just in general, because I've been in martial arts for a very long time. It seems to me that a lot of the old Brazilians, and I'm talking probably 2005, it seemed like the old style of jiu-jitsu was pass guard, like they emphasized that a lot.
Yes.
Was you have to pass the guard, and it was a lot of pressure passing. I like to say a lot of the old Carlson Gracie style, where it was very hard and mean.
also throwing. Like prior to 2005, I didn't see a lot of guard pulling in Jiu-Jitsu.
See, I saw a lot of guard pulling. If you watch a lot of the older matches, I saw a lot of guard pulling because they went right to the ground. But when they get to the ground, it's all about I have to pass, and whatever I need to do to pass. Whereas a lot of the newer style jiu-jitsu, it seems like they'll pull guard, but then it's work half guard, work whatever guards they want or they can, but it's not so emphasized on passing guard. But if you watch a lot of the old matches, the old world matches or the old Pan Ams, you can notice that a lot of the older Brazilians go for the pass. They're all about the pass.
Yes. You started teaching jiu-jitsu. You need tell for new guys pass the guard, because no pass the guard, you no play. But I think for competitions, it's possible we win for points, and this complete change the jiu-jitsu. In jiu-jitsu continues have a new techniques. I don't know how many techniques have in jiu-jitsu. Maybe 5,000. I don't know, because everybody have a little
Variation.
variation for your body.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is for everybody. It's possible you play jiu-jitsu. You have I have a lot of injuries in my body now. More young, I'm really like to fight, no problem. Now I need more smart. The injuries in my body is not for jiu-jitsu, it's for my work. I'm a policy for 30 years, And but jiu-jitsu, all time in modification, You need to remember, learn, and study the basic of jiu-jitsu, the mount, the guard, the pass. But you have guys today for fight. It's similar to the physical preparation for the Olympic guys.
Yes. High level.
It's a
Adult
professional athlete.
Yeah, adult black belts in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, like adult black belt competitors, all the top level competitors, they're easily elite level conditioned athletes, easily Olympic level conditioned athletes, and probably they all have strength coaches, they all have dietitians and nutritionists. I mean, like it's not like the old days where you could just go in there and fight. You really have to prepare yourself if you're going to compete at that level.
And you know, you play jiu-jitsu with these guys, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it's a opportunity for the life.
Well, didn't you also say that Fabio Gurgel has a competition class from like 11 to 1 or something like that that's just murder?
Yes. I'm a student in Fabio Gurgel in competition team. You know, I'm a world champion. Okay. It's amazing. You have I don't know, 50, 60 black belts in the dojo this time. It don't stop. It's a don't stop. It's a you have 3 hours.
Just constant fighting.
Yes, it's I never see this in other dojo. You know, it's amazing. It's a dream. If you like jiu-jitsu, you need to go there for see this or training. Try it. But these professionals, you know, it's really hard. It's really different. I really love this. But the time pass, you need to push the brake pedal. You know, more
as you
slow.
see, we're all relatively older gentlemen here. We're not spring chickens like we used to be.
Yeah.
You
know, the competition time is different.
Yes, competition time is really different. We got pushed hard by Eduardo when we were coming up through the ranks. Eduardo was very, very competitive, a Gracie Baja guy, and he was one of the first guys that was over here before Gracie Baja really moved over to the U.S. And, you know, Eduardo's big thing was we went to the Pan Ams every year.
Yeah.
And he would tell us, okay, boys, you know, now begins 3 months of training. And, you know, it was serious. We didn't goof around. He was really strict with us. The classes were hard. We were doing all sorts of insane, crazy things to get into really good physical shape. But the fighting, I just remember the fighting back then when we were blue belt and purple belts was just so intense.
And even if you weren't going to the Pan Ams, you were there to help everybody, and it was just as crazy for you.
Yeah.
Because I went one of the years in 2012, but even before that, if the guys were going a few months before, it was your obligation to help
the other people,
to help them train for the Pan Am. So, you know, you had just as much of a stake in the game as they did. You had to prepare them. So,
but it was your teammate. It was your teammate, and you wanted to sacrifice for your teammate. Yeah, I remember that absolutely. We did that many times. Yeah. We knew Lucas was going to, you know, like when any of the guys were really going to have a good fight, some of Eduardo's top guys, we just were constantly used to make that guy better, and we loved it.
And definitely, the mentality in the dojo changed totally. Everybody was in a different mindset, and it was go time.
Yeah. It was like there was always a level of fun and happiness in the dojo, but all of a sudden during that time it got like right after Christmas, right after the holidays, it was like boom. It got serious until the Pan Ams were done. Like there was no goofing around. No, you know, like if someone came in and was eating crappy like McDonald's or something, Eduardo would get even extra mad. But it was serious. You'd walk in, everyone was still friends, but the whole atmosphere was different. Yeah. You could feel it. You could really feel it. Yeah.
The smell is different.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fighters. You know, you remember the Rock, the Sylvester Stallone.
Yes. Rocky. Yes.
Yeah. Eyes of the Tiger. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You have a heart and eyes.
Yeah.
The tigers.
He would tell us this is the one time of year that we get to do this, that we go to fight. Yeah. You know, he'd say war and things like that. And, you know, it's never comparing it to like a real war and soldiers, but you know, for a jiu-jitsu person, that's their pinnacle, that's their competition, that's their war. And we got that mindset on, and yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I miss it. I miss those days.
Remember the last competition? Probably the coming to the 5 and the competition have a old guy in black belt, maybe 60 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, one of our guys at the dojo, Nico
Dahan,
Dahan. I want to say Nico's like either 75 or 77 now. I don't know.
Somewhere in that
It's up there.
range, yeah.
But Nico got his black belt, trained really hard, fought really hard, and Nico went out every year to the Pan Ams and was like, I know he was like 72, 73,
Yeah.
74 competing in the Pan Ams and doing great. Like you watch Nico out there and it was like, wow, here's this 75-year-old guy out there competing in front of everybody.
Health for your brain,
Yep.
health for your blood.
Absolutely.
And now they even have the World Masters
It's here now.
tournament, yeah.
Yeah.
So for all the older gentlemen who like to still compete, they have the Masters tournament now.
That's stacked. You see the people that fight in the World Masters are like all
Megaton,
legends,
Megaton.
Megaton, and they're all a who's who of famous jiu-jitsu people from the 90s. It's crazy. You think you go into the Masters division and like kind of walk through?
This year, 2019, I don't know.
We're gonna get you in
But
shape for it.
We
Yes,
talked actually about 2020. We talked about 2020. If you can hold off a year, I don't want to prevent you from competing, but maybe a solid year of getting us into shape,
Yes.
healing up.
Maybe this year I come to the world.
I have to wait. I got stem cells in my shoulder about 4 weeks ago, and for everybody who's out there looking about stem cells, I went ahead and did it, and it takes a while. It's supposed to be like 6 months to a year before the tissues lay down and stuff, so I have to be careful. I can't really push my shoulder too much even for the next couple of months. So my hope is that it works really well so that I can start training the whole year for the ability to go to either the Pans and take the whole school of the Pans, or the Masters. I thought the Pans would be really good because then we could take a lot of students, because we have young students and older students as well.
Well,
I thought that would everybody can compete.
Everybody can compete. And
We can compete in the Masters division as well.
Yeah. So that may be something I've thrown my hat into.
Yeah. Well, I know he's going to want to go out to the International Masters too, so I'm pretty sure we'll be going out to that as well. It'll be awesome.
Do we get a discount for two?
For sure, for my daughters.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Well, Tristan, funny that you said that. Tristan told me that he's never seen me compete, and he would really like to see me compete. And I was like, ooh, okay, all right, we may have to.
He's still
we may
a
have.
little young.
He's still a little young,
First,
but
remembers me going
Yeah.
to the Pans, and then I don't think he remembers because I competed a few times before that when I was coming up through the ranks, but not very often. I did more of my competition when I was in karate years ago as a teenager.
I didn't do any competition. I did Aikido, and there was no competition in Aikido. We did classes and seminars, and it was nice. I had a good time with it. But coming into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was the first time that I really went out there and competed against another man in a sport like that. And it's it's exhilarating. It's really a lot of fun. It's nerve-wracking too. It's scary, but once you're out there and you have a good feel, it's not like you're getting punched or kicked. So you went through that. I don't have to go through that. So I didn't get punched and kicked. And then afterwards, win or lose, you're friends with the guy.
Yes.
If you give a guy a good fight, he's respectful to you, and he's like, another one of my friends, Scott. Oh gosh, I forget Scott's last name. He's out in Washington. But we had a fight at our brown belt. And I remember Scott Abernathy. Scott Abernathy, if you're out there, this is about our story. Scott and I fought, and he had a great triangle, really, really good guard. And I remember he put me in a triangle and had my arm for an arm bar. And Eduardo was sitting out there, and I looked at him, and I literally told him, I'm not tapping. So he popped the arm. I managed to escape. I just couldn't do it. I wasn't going to tap at the Pans. And we went the whole time. He won the match, beat me on points. And afterwards, I saw him and I said, how did you do on your next match? And he's like, I was so tired from your match that I had nothing left for the next guy, and he walked right through me. So that was it was an honor to lose in that capacity, going, okay, I gave you a decent enough fight that, it had an impact. But you fight these guys, and then you're friends with them. They're friends for years afterwards, for years. Well, our camera just died, so now the camera's back up again. So here we go for more talking. Where were we? We were reminiscing.
You just got beat up.
I got beat up.
You're friends with the person that you got beat up with.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you though, that brings up an interesting realization that I've had in jiu-jitsu. I've been in Brazilian jiu-jitsu now this is my 17th year. It'll be 17 years.
Are you sure?
I am very sure.
Let's ask Ramon.
Listen. I started
a year
jiu-jitsu.
before me.
I started jiu-jitsu July 1st of 2002. We're coming up to July 1st, 2019. So that'll be 17 years. But I'm coming up on my 35th anniversary in martial arts. I'm an old karate guy for 20 years before even getting in jiu-jitsu. So I can say this with pretty much a good confirmation. I've met more people in jiu-jitsu that you can fight them hard and you can get beat up, but you're friends with them and you never have a beef with them. But I've met more people in the karate world where you beat them and they are steamed, they get mad, they want to beat you, and they'll punch you, they'll kick you as hard as they can and everything. I mean, I've been choked. I've never been choked unconscious, but I've been choked, I've been arm locked, I've had Mean Jeff hog tie me with my belt before.
Yep.
I've met the toughest people in jiu-jitsu, but I've never had anyone be malicious.
I think it's because we don't punch and kick. I think it's because we don't hurt people. Because when you punch someone, instinctually you get pissed off. You get mad. Like either mad or fear.
Yes, this is a magic for jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Damage your
Right.
your adversary.
Absolutely.
Arte suave is soft art.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
And I think that was the hardest thing, and I think I'm still overcoming that even through all these years. Even though I'm older, I still try to fight like I'm younger, and I have to learn how to not try to be a little softer in my approach. But I try to get in as many matches, but I think my old karate philosophy comes out of just go hard all the time, where sometimes I kind of have to realize that as I get older, I need to start going a little softer, as I get older, but I haven't reached just that point yet.
Oh, I didn't start slowing down until I got hurt. I mean, Eduardo we never did like flow drilling and stuff like that at the academy. Did you ever do flow drilling when you were flow? No, there was no flow. It was like 100% old school fight, and that was it. You flow a little bit maybe when you were injured and stuff like that. Now flowing is nice. I like it. It's fun. I think it's a good training aspect too.
Absolutely.
Butch hates it. He doesn't like it.
If we're gonna fight, we're gonna spar, we're gonna roll, whatever you call it. I like to just go in and just get going. I don't even like to stretch. Just let's go. I'm not a big stretcher. Maybe that's half my problem.
It could be.
But also too, though, when we started, and Professor Cassio, you can definitely attest to this one or see if it's different. But when we started, especially at Eduardo's, we didn't have beginner class.
No.
We had class.
We were thrown in with the sharks.
You were thrown to the wolves, and
Yep.
I tell all the students now, you guys don't. Everybody's friends now. I went into class, nobody talked to me. You were just there. And if you came back the next day, they looked at you again because you're a piece of meat for a while, and they look at you finally until somebody says, "Stop doing what you're doing wrong," and that's all they would say. So you would stop doing that. Then, as time went on, they would show you exactly what to do, and then you became friends with them. I still remember the most profound moment in my early jiu-jitsu life was guard pass night, and I got scissor swept every time I went up by a person that is a great friend now, Mean Jeff Semenak.
Jeff Semenak.
Jeff Semenak. This is the story,
Mean
and
Jeff.
I tell everybody. I went up, and again, he was a blue belt, maybe a purple belt.
He's probably purple.
Purple,
He was
maybe.
probably purple,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
maybe he just got promoted when I started, and he scissor swept me every time I went up. I went up, and he goes because it was Eduardo put himself and 2 other people down. Whoever the highest ranks were, they stayed down, unless you beat them, and then you stay down. And I went up, and he goes, "I'm going to scissor sweep you." And I was already a 3rd-degree black belt by this time in karate. I'm like, "You're not going to do it." And every time I went up, I went home. And I remember you saying earlier how you had to leave and you cried. I did the same thing. I cried all the way home, driving home. I'm like, how is this happening? And I'll tell you what, if you scissor sweep me nowadays, God bless you, because you earned it.
I want to add a couple things to Mean Jeff, since we're talking about Mean Jeff. And Mean Jeff, I expect you to listen to this for your accolades. Mean Jeff was called Mean Jeff because he would do mean things to you. So you'd be on
Not
the ground.
malicious, just mean.
Oh, well, they were malicious too, but they were like horribly malicious. But he was the kind of guy that like he'd be on top of you and he'd like give you a nurple or pull your hairs, and he'd say if the ref isn't looking, it's legal. And then he'd always say like experienced tournament fighter, referring to himself. Jeff, like Butch said, Jeff could scissor sweep anybody. And then the other thing that Jeff would do is he would do armbar from closed guard. I remember getting in his guard and thinking, he's not going to get my arm. He's not going to get my arm. And he would take that arm and move it over to the side, turn and armbar you, just over and over and over again. And then the other thing that Jeff was really good at is when Jeff would get the side control and you knew the Kimura was coming. When Jeff passed your guard and he got the side control, you were like, oh, shit. It's coming. And nothing could stop it. Nothing could stop it when we were that age.
And then if you tried stopping it, then you would put your hands up and he would hog tie you with
his
your
belt. Take your belt and wrap the hand.
He would hog tie you.
Yeah.
And then he would laugh at you as he was choking you.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was very demoralizing. But and how we came back, I don't know. But
it was awesome.
It was awesomely demoralizing. But we came back, and through that, you learned how to handle those situations, and you learn how to overcome them, and now I find myself doing the same things to people. It's like okay, I'm in this spot. Well, I remember that.
Did you have a guy that you remember from your training days? I mean, you were probably one of the biggest people in your academy, I would think. But was there one person that just always gave you a hard time when you would fight? He's gonna say no. Watch.
No, I have it. I play with Marcelo Garcia maybe 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I win 2 or 3.
2 or 3 out of 1,000. Little Marcelo Garcia, and you guys were white belts together.
Yes, but no, in purple belt.
Purple belts together.
Yes. And Marcelo is a amazing guy, The other is Demian Maia.
Yeah.
I tried 100 times, win maybe 10.
Yeah.
It's difficult. But
Sure.
in competition, I lost only 1 fight in my life in competition time. All belts, graduation, I lost only 1 time.
You competed from blue, purple, brown, and black. How
Yes.
many world championships have you won? A few?
Yes.
Did you win them at each belt?
Yes.
So you won the world championship at blue belt.
He's shy about telling
That's
you.
all, like it's okay.
No,
you can
I
be
don't
humble
like
about it. I know
to talk too much.
you're not talking
you know?
yourself
Yes.
up. I'm asking you
But-
questions, but I mean that's
It's true.
So world
I'm
championship at blue, world championship at purple, world championship at brown,
Yes.
world championship at black.
In different ages.
Different age
Yes,
groups as well. Yes.
But this time in my life is fighters.
Yeah, that's all you did.
Only this. Yeah.
Now, did
I
you-
have my gym, my dojo.
And
I
all you
need
did
to
was
show
train.
for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't have money. I need to show for weightlifting. I need to show for fighters. I need to show for everything. Yeah, and my wife, need to show this is work. Look, but I come in all time for Fabio. Hey, Fabio, I have a problem. I know win the Marcelo Garcia. Oh, he's really problem. No, win.
Didn't help you? He didn't help you at all?
Sometimes, sometimes. But I continues the same wrong direction.
Yeah.
You go. You need to go. Go again.
Yeah.
Well, I think this brings up a good point. Not to be too corny or anything, but I think this brings up a good point in the fact of kids nowadays don't have the rivalries. I think those rivalries that are good,
Competitive rivalries, yeah.
That it's like someone challenges you to excel or try to be better than you are, and I think a lot of that is lost in modern day society in the fact of, God forbid somebody beat you. And then it's like, oh no, my son or daughter has to be the best at all times. It's like, wait a minute, that's not how life is.
Yeah.
And I think we try to attribute a lot back. At least most of my life has been in martial arts, and I've had those rivalries, whether it be in karate or in jiu-jitsu, and it's a fantastic thing because these are the guys that challenge me, and girls that challenge me to be better than I think I can be. And there's, not just me and Jeff through the years. There's been other people that have been fantastic training partners because it's been, I want to beat that person. I want to beat that person. How can I do it? Or how can I be better to do it?
Well, you remember we were all on that same crew. I remember being that way with like Lee. Lee and I would go, like 1 week he would win, 1 week I would win, and it went like that. And I remember Sean Lynch was, Sean Lynch yelling at us saying, all you guys talk about is beating each other and stuff like that. And of course that's when we were blue belts. That was kind of what the goal was. We wanted to win all the time. We didn't like losing. So we would talk all the time about who we beat, who beat us, and I understand now what Sean was talking about, of course, that the focus isn't about winning, that's the last thing. But back when you're just becoming a new jiu-jitsu person, that's what you think about. Because you don't know the deeper meanings of jiu-jitsu.
But even now when you roll, and especially against people of your own level, you still get that little bit of grit going and being like, okay, I need to make sure I can, man up or be at the level and give it my all. Because I know when I get other black belts coming in, I want to make sure that I'm fighting as hard as I can. And if they're gonna beat me, they're gonna beat me fair and square, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be.
You're just not gonna roll over. No, I don't think any of us.
I think that's a healthy way to think. Even if it's a 20-year-old black belt, I'm going to give it my all, and that's
absolutely.
It's not going to be an easy fight for you.
No.
I may not be able to move like you, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
So I think that's a healthy thinking, and I think some of that is lost. And this is the jiu-jitsu school is a fantastic place to kind of bring that out in young kids.
I agree.
And young kids and even young adults.
Yeah, I agree. It's so many things we could talk about how jiu-jitsu is so great and benefits all of us. So
I won't get into my political views.
Another time.
We'll
save that for another time. We'll have to have a special podcast for Sunday morning here.
Sunday morning podcast. Watch out.
Yeah. So we've been talking for a while. Is there anything else that we want to touch on? I think we're pretty good. For our viewers that are out there, if you have any comments or have any questions that you'd like to ask, please feel free. Professor Cassio has been involved in jiu-jitsu. Like you said, in like 1989 was when you had your first dojo. 1989 and the 90s in Brazil was like an unbelievable time for Brazilian jiu-jitsu. An unbelievable time with many, many heroes. He has unbelievable stories about all sorts of things in Brazilian jiu-jitsu back in then, and he would love to share some of those. Butch and I are kind of like second generation.
How long have you been, studying martial arts, how long have you been studying martial arts
overall? I did martial arts when I was 8 years old, from 8 to 11 with the Ingrams. And then I was out for a while, and then I got back in at like 18. But martial arts never left.
You're a 35-year plus.
Yeah, martial arts never left. When I was 5 years old, I saw an episode of Kung Fu with David Carradine, and I remember specifically thinking that's what I wanted to be. That's what I wanted to do. And that's it. I was fascinated with martial arts and Eastern teachings from there on out.
I actually got started in the summer of 1984. I was at the premiere of the first Karate Kid movie.
No way.
We did a karate demonstration in Ocala, Florida. That's where I grew up.
That's awesome.
And I was a yellow belt doing a karate demonstration. But I got involved in martial arts because I was sitting on the couch. I played sports. I played baseball. I played soccer. But during the summer, my parents, I wasn't doing anything during the summer. Listen, if you grow up in Florida, you really don't want to do anything other than sit in air conditioning in the summer because it's so hot. But my parents wanted me to get in something, and there was a summer special at the karate school, the only karate school in Ocala, Florida, and it was a $99 summer special.
Is that the one your mom didn't sign you up for, the 4-year one?
Yeah. My mom would pay month to month. She would never
Wouldn't sign a
contract.
contract. Yep.
And
good for your mom.
And now almost 35 years later, I'm still involved in martial arts. Now, and I'm looking right dead square into the camera on this, and I'm not telling any lies. My mother has never seen me do martial arts at all. She never walked into class. If she had to pay, she went into the office. She never walked into the dojo part of the school. She waited in the car to pick me up. So she's never seen me do martial arts. I'm the youngest of 5. My brothers and sisters have never seen me do martial arts. My wife has seen me do martial arts. She's been to a karate tournament and a jiu-jitsu tournament.
What's up with that?
She will never go back to a jiu-jitsu tournament because that was when Christian was like maybe a year or 2 old, and jiu-jitsu tournaments never run on time. They run on Brazilian time, and so she was left without a diaper or anything. I said I go on at 1:20 or 1:30, and it was like 3:30 by the time I started fighting. So she vowed never to come back to a jiu-jitsu tournament. The only one who's really ever seen me do much of anything is Christian, my son.
Yeah.
So, so this truly is my world.
Yeah.
This is my own little world that I have cultivated just for myself, and it's my alter ego. So,
well, that's why I love it so much. I've watched your world for 16 years now. We've been training for 16 years together. I enjoy being a part of your world, so it's a lot of fun.
So all my quirks and uniqueness, and I should break out the mask.
You probably should break out the mask.
I should break out the mask before it's over.
Did you want to go get the mask? Hurry up. No. The mask we'll save another time.
For another
we'll do a whole podcast with you wearing the mask.
Possibly.
I think that would be great. Professor Cassio, any parting words?
Oh, that was my parting word?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Invitation for guys coming and try to play jiu-jitsu. Maybe 1 week is you will start, you'll never stop.
Come to the academy. We always give a week away free. We're very, very welcoming. We have a lot of people here. It's a wonderful dojo and a wonderful group of people. You don't have to worry if you don't know anything about martial arts, if you're not athletic. This is a great place to come and learn jiu-jitsu. Absolutely. Hey, everybody's welcome.
Yeah, also, too, if you're watching this and you're from another part of the country or another part of the world, if you're around here, we're only about maybe 45 minutes north of Clearwater, Florida, Clearwater Beach. We're about an hour away from Clearwater Beach. But if you're here on vacation and you want a place to train, come to Newport Richey Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's a great place. Sunday mornings especially are definitely fun. Tampa, if you're over in Tampa.
Tampa's a world-class area for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. A lot of people don't know that. There's unbelievable Jiu-Jitsu in Tampa Bay. Come Friday night and Sunday. It's open mat. It's free. I don't charge a mat fee for open mats. Come and make some new friends. I guess that's it. Again, if anybody else has any questions when you guys watch this, please, guys and girls, when you watch this, if you have any questions, just put it in the comments, and we'll look at your comments, and we'll go through and we'll answer some. And hopefully, as the podcast develops, we'll talk more about jiu-jitsu, obviously, but we'll talk about all sorts of different stuff, and we'll have a great time with it. All right? Cool. Thanks, guys. Good night, everyone.
Bye.